around the world for my children, my constituents' children, and raise the bar as high as possible and send us to a new level. Now, some of us may be afraid, and that's what I see, fear. But I can no longer sit by idle and be afraid anymore and just allow the status quo to exist in education. Ladies and gentlemen, we are dead last in education. You're last. I'm tired of being on the bottom. You guys, in 2008, the House, I introduced legislation, charter legislation. It didn't get anywhere. The information didn't get out there about charter schools, and we're learning a lot of new techniques that we can use in legislation to help our children. Charter can be one of them. And guys, as we move forward through that process, what I experienced is that even in my own caucus, the Legislative Black Caucus, we found out so many things that were just real, tangible things that are so... Here's the example. Even with my own colleagues, what we found out, that as we move forward with charter legislation, there was fear in this legislation that it was going to be a backdoor method for private schools and academies to use public school dollars. Now you guys, everyone in this room is educated. Everyone. We have access to the internet and we can read it for ourselves. We can look at the results and we can show real results that are just simply off the chart. Now, we have other states out there that we're competing with, okay? In the state of Tennessee, in the state of Louisiana, and in the state of Arkansas, there has been a robust discussion, but at the same time, we've been able to find success stories. Now, your president and my president, President Obama, supports charter legislation, period. His Secretary of Education, Secretary Duncan, has brought forward a wonderful initiative. It's called Race to the Top. And in the Race to the Top funds, which is over $4 billion for education, $4 billion, they said they want to see charter schools. In the state of Mississippi, our budget scenario is grim. We're faced with the uphill challenge. Guys, there is over $30 million available. And then additional funding after the first round for producing charter legislation. That's real money. So guys, I present to you today a realistic scenario that has worked, and I'm going to yield to talk about the other aspects that we unveiled. And we've seen other things to really, really work. You've had Newt Gingrich, the former speaker, and Al Sharpton, Reverend Al Sharpton, who has just recently made a tour throughout the United States. And what they found was something very interesting, that the very school that we have been talking to, they are yielding that this is a wonderful model, and it's called KIP, Knowledge is Power Program. And it's a wonderful program. And it's actually showing the results that we need in our state. You can look at the charts for yourself. The local school districts, they're outperforming, and they're outperforming the state schools district numbers. It's phenomenal. So I guess I present to you today, are we going to take that step? Or are we going to stay in that little box or that little fence? Are we going to remain there? I've been doing this for 10 years now. And every single time in education, we've stood in that same position of 50th or number 49 in the nation. I'm tired of being at the bottom. I'm tired of my children being at the bottom. And I hope you express that same concern that I do Other information that is out there, I had colleagues in the Black Caucus that have been working with me on this particular issue. And they said, well, Chuck, what about putting more money into public education? We went right to Tunica, Mississippi, the greatest example in the world, where a lot of money was dumped into the structure, and guess what? Low-performing school districts still exist. Just what it is. So I'm not going to hide or allow a superintendent or even my superintendents in my school district to just say, hey, this is where we are. I can't tolerate that anymore. So guys, I know what I'm asking is something different, but read what President Obama says. Read what Secretary Duncan says. Get the information for yourself. And let's begin to move forward in education, whether it's charter, magnet, public, private, it doesn't matter to me. I just want our children educated. At this time, I'll yield the balance, Mr. Chairman, and I guess we'll go to questions after that, to a distinguished gentleman of the Delta Regional Authority, Pete Johnson.